Hello, this is Rex Makanji. This is my assignment on business analytics and intelligence. Uh, I'll be starting off with the executive summary, which is just a brief summary of what I have in my content. This executive summary provides an overview of the analysis conducted on the online women clothing retail market in the UK. This study aims to examine the current state of the industry and make recommendations for future growth. The key variables analyzed include turnover, profit before taxation, number of employees, shareholder funds, and tangible assets. So I went on to start with the trends in the online women's clothing retail in the UK. I also went on to point out the type of analysis that I will be doing, and I'm going to focus on two variables mainly: turnover and profit before taxation. So I did descriptive analysis as well as a predictive analysis, and I also gave my recommendation. So I'm going to start off with the introduction. So the study, which focuses on the examination of online women's clothing retailing in the UK, was completed as part of the business analytics and intelligence uh, assignment, which examines the state of the industry now and making suggestions for its future were the goals of my assignment. So the study used information from 10 UK companies from 2013 to 2022 to examine this. I used descriptive and predictive analysis uh, to find important trends in the industry, and I chose five different critical variables, namely turnover, profit before taxation, number of employees, shareholder funds, and net tangible assets. So I'm going to try to define some of the terms that I'll be using more frequently in this presentation. So business analytics, or also known as BA, is the collection of tools for employing data analysis, making statistical modeling and other quantitative techniques to address business issues and also to guide decision making. It entails an ongoing rigorous investigation of an organizational data and with a focus on statistical analysis, descriptive analysis. This is the analysis of data or content is determined to determine what happened or what is happening is known as a descriptive analysis. It is characterized by traditional business intelligence and visuals like pie chart, bar chart, line chart, tables, or generated narrative. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Explaining predictive analysis that it can be defined as the possibility of a situation occurring or the likely future outcome of an occurrence, both determined using a predictive analysis. Business analytics is in decision making. This can also be referred to as a data driven decision making. Is the method of trying to use information to support your argument or confirm a course of action before committing to it. So the two variables I'll be taking account for here is turnover and the profit after taxation. The turnover is the overall revenue that a company makes throughout a given time frame, and such as quarter, half year, or year end. The profit after taxation is the earning of a business after all income taxes has been subtracted, known as profit before taxation. We're moving on to the next slide. This figure shows the trend in the online women clothing retailing in the UK. So, according to this graph or the figure, the online sales of women clothing brought in close to £10.8 billion in 2021. This number represents the total revenue generated by online merchants, specifically in the women's clothing market over the course of the year. So this graph displays the high market demands and financial worth of the online buying in the sector, according to Statista. So the industry for online women's clothes retail is expected to reach approximately £11.5 billion in revenue by 2022. According to this prediction, the sector will likely continue to expand and produce even more money in the upcoming years. This growth forecast demonstrates the market potential and the belief that consumer spending on women's clothing will keep increasing. Move on to the next slide. This graph shows the popular sites that are being used more in the UK. So according to the research that I made, the most sites that people use in the UK is markspencer.com, which obtained the most user visits out of all the websites that sells clothes and accessories, which demonstrate a high appeal and interest in a fashion product amongst amongst consumers who use the Marks and Spencer online store, according to Statista. So this information is useful to figuring out consumer behavior, the market trends, and where various internet platforms fit into the fashion and clothing sector. Moving on to the next slide, in which I did my descriptive analysis. I used line graphs. This line graph is a graph that shows the changes over a short period of time and also over a long period of time. And in this graph, I used in this graph, it shows the changes over the time in turnover, and according to the graph, over the years, Marks and Spencer has shown a consistent growth in the turnover. Also, the ASOS PLC has experienced continuous growth in revenue, with a significant increase observed from 2017 to 2018. Boohoo as well has showed consistent growth in turnover. So this analysis also suggests that a few firms are not doing too well, like New Look Retail Limited, which has faced some challenges, as shown in the graph, with no sign of improvement. So I'll move on to the next graph. This graph is on the profit before taxation, which shows the changes over a short period of time and a long period of time, and Marks Spencer has demonstrated a positive trend in profit before taxation. Boohoo Limited has experienced fluctuation in profit before taxation with a recent decline. Ted Baker Holdings Limited has faced challenges in maintaining the positive profit before taxation. So I went ahead also to do a predictive analysis, and here I use a scatter plot graph. A scatter plot graph, sometimes known as a scatter plot, is a graph that displays the correlations between two variables. They are the most very effective type of charts because they enable the viewer to see the relationship or trend that would be nearly impossible to see in any other type of graphs. So here I use the two variables, which is the profit before taxation and turnover. So trying to explain the graph, the scatter plot, the equation tells us that for every increase in turnover, which is X, the predicted value of profit before taxation, Y, decreases by 0.1618 units. The value of 296,941 represents the Y-axis, which is the estimated profit before tax when turnover is 0. So still on the descriptive analysis, I went ahead to run a regression. This is my graph showing the result I got. So the R-square value, which is 0.4565, illustrates that how strongly turnover and profit before tax are correlated. The coefficient of determination, or R-square, has a range from 0 to 1, and R-square of 0.4565 in this instance allows the variation in turnover, though shows that the variation in turnover can account for about 45.65% of the fluctuation in profit before tax. For my analysis, the expected profit before tax at 0 turnover is known as the intercept. The intercept in my analysis has a p-value lower than 0.05. This demonstrates that the statistical significance of the predicted profit before tax with 0 turnover. In other words, it is doubtful that this happened by chance, which shows that the turnover related p-value is likely less than 0.05. This shows that the turnover and the profit before taxation have a statistically significant relationship. In other words, the changes in turnover are significantly correlated with changes in profit before tax, and the correlation is not likely to happen by chance. So overall, the significance of the intercept and the turnover p-value shows that the relationship between turnover and profit before tax is important and statistically significant. So in conclusion, this analysis reveals a negative relationship between the turnover and the profit before tax in the online women's clothing retail market. And based on this, my recommendation for them will be to increase their online presence, which will aim to improve profitability and prioritizing the consumer experience. Also, the businesses must adapt and to try and leverage data insight and drive strategic decision making for success. Thank you.